Hi everyone, welcome to Feisty Friday at 5 with Greta B. Tonight, Greta B returns to a subject that seems to resonate with viewers here, sex. She promises to blow the lid off popular and prurient fallacies as she explains the 3 C's that can promise great sex over the holidays and beyond. They are communicate, conflate, and calibrate. This is Andy Asher in the Boomer TV studio. I have no idea what she's going to say and never do, but we will all be surprised. So let's find out. Now, Feisty Friday at 5 with Greta B. Hello, Greta B.
Hey, Andy. Hi. I'm really going to pee off some people tonight, probably some middle-aged and beyond men. I'm going to disabuse them of some fantasies they have, okay? Because I have to, because that's why I'm here. So with your permission, I'm going to do that. And to do that, I decided, since it is a couple days from Halloween, I'm wearing my best sort of channeling Marilyn sort of vibe. I hope that I kind of pulled it off. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, this is the closest I'm going to come to a Halloween this year. All right here on my own show, sitting here in my own little studio. So this is what indulge me, people, indulge me. I said that I was going to blow the lid off some popular and possibly prurient fallacies. You know, I've been talking about sex, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from people saying, oh, that was really interesting, or I really got that, or, oh, can you remind me? So I'm going to do a little rehash of some stuff we've done in some weeks here preceding. And there'll be some new stuff too. And I want to remind people, if they go to gretablackburn.com and sign up for my email list, I will send them a free audio file that will help them get through the holidays without gaining lbs. Greta B's Figure 8. You'll put it on your iPhone. You'll go out for a walk. You'll get on a treadmill somewhere in your gym at your building or wherever there is one. And you'll do this workout. It's about 15 minutes and it works, people. So sign up and just be the person on New Year's Eve who's actually fitting into their dress better than the year before and not saying, oh, had I only not eaten all that food these past 2 months. So, and not worked out properly. So that's my preaching. That's some of my preaching. But let's get back to the prurient. That's really hard to say, guys. Say it, prurient. Fallacies. So we've been talking about hormones that help with male and female sexual function and performance. And one of the things that's really important to men in this boomer category is performance. I'm sorry, guys, but you all ask about that and you make jokes about the little blue pill and you talk about, oh, well, I'm okay as long as I have my pill and whatever. And a lot of you are very self-conscious about the fact that you're not 20 and waking up with, you know what, knock on. And I talked about the importance of nocturnal erections, that a daily, or I guess I should say nightly nocturnal erection is a sign of a very healthy person. So that there's hormones to help with that. But here's one of the things guys say, well, I'm just concerned because they have this expectation that women want them to be able to perform Johnny on the spot like they did when they were teenagers. And the beauty of being a boomer, if you're dating age appropriate women, and here's where we're going to get back to the prurient part in a minute, but let me digress for a moment. The beauty of that is that, guess what? Women of a certain age are also kind of mellow. They can be. They're more understanding. They're not really expecting that of you. You're expecting that of you. And here's the part that you're going to hate me for. You guys that are chasing, and I know you, I talk to you. You're my friends, you're my associates, some of you. 75-year-olds whose dream date is with a 23-year-old are, of course, going to have performance anxiety. So let me to disabuse you of that, let me just say this. If you're dating a 23-year-old and you're 75, she's not with you for the hot sex. I know you think she is. But she's not. She's got an Abercrombie and Fitch swimsuit boyfriend on the side, and that's who she goes to that for, okay? Just saying, just keeping it real. So you can relax about the performance stuff, because if you're dating a chick who's way too young for you, she's not there for that anyway. It's fine. She's fine with it, okay? Ugh, whatever. And if you're dating an age appropriate woman, she's probably a little more understanding. And hopefully you're in a fantastic relationship and for forever. And you guys have great sex and great communication and everything's good. Okay, so that's my opening salvo. Now we talked about the 3 C's: conflate, communicate, and calibrate. Let's talk about conflate first. So, all right, I'm going to put my fur down because it's really hard. I don't know how Marilyn did it, holding the fur up the whole time. Now my earrings catching them. Ugh, it's a nightmare. Conflate. We've been talking about weight loss. We've been talking about body, our own body self-image, body dysmorphia, in the case of people who have a pretty okay body but don't think they do. We want to conflate, and we also don't want to conflate. And here's what I mean. So for women, one of the keys to having sex is you got to get naked, or you probably should, or you probably want to. For women, that can be a problem if they're worried about their body. It doesn't look like it did when they were 18. They don't really want to get naked because they're worried about a little something, something around their thigh or their butt or their whatever. So we have this thing where women are always wanting to be thin. Do these jeans make my butt look thin? And we all know, man, you never, ever say, or do they make me look fat? You never say they do. We know that. We all know that. But so for women, the idea of conflating their body image with the desire for sex is an unfortunate conflation. For men, having a little extra or a lot of extra fat, especially around the midsection, is pretty much a predictor of heart problems down the road or maybe tomorrow. So that's a conflation that's probably a good one to have, knowing that because you're chunky and you put on some weight there, that it's a health risk. So the conflation part of this whole thing is that you don't want to conflate too much, i.e. put too much importance on the physical image, the aesthetic, to the degree that it prevents you from having fun, kinky, wild, over-the-top sex. But you do want to be cautious and appropriate about your health. So conflating is a good and a bad thing. I'm going to tell you a little anecdote here. I was involved with a therapist in LA. We were working on a book together. And she was a very famous, very accomplished, great-looking older lady, psychotherapist. She had a hot husband. He had never seen her without makeup on. He had never. She told me the story of what she did. She went to bed with a full face of makeup, and when she got up an hour early to go into the bathroom and put the makeup on and clothes. That's kind of wonky. That's not the kind of, and this is a therapist, which is why I guess that's why I'm telling this story. I don't know. It's kind of a good story. Anyway, so that's kind of weird. So I'm just saying people have their idiosyncrasies. Women, to a degree, it's about the physical. Men, it's about the physical as it relates to their masculinity, their testosterone necessity. So this is just how we're hardwired. So you got to do what you can to work around this stuff. The second C, communicate. One of the keys to communication, I believe, is that at least one person in the relationship has to have a high emotional intelligence. You can both be super brainiacs with Mensa and beyond IQs, but somebody's got to be emotionally intelligent. So I'm going to give you just a couple of keys, cues, whatever you call it, to know when you're with someone who has a low EQ, emotional IQ, or to know if yours is maybe not that great and you can work on it. So there are some things that people say who have low emotional IQ. So be on the lookout. Are you doing this? Is your partner doing this? Because communication is a big part of that end of the day, ripping the clothes off and getting into bed together. We all know that one bad spat can ruin a whole night. It shouldn't, but it can. Someone who says, oh, you're just being sensitive. Okay, that is not something you say if you have a high emotional intelligence IQ. You just don't. There are better ways, tell me why you feel that way. How can we talk about the way that you feel? How can we address this? What can we do to get this out of the way? But don't say, oh, you're just being sensitive. That's not gonna bonding. Ain't gonna happen. I had no other choice. You gave me no other choice. I mean, there's so many. That's bad on so many levels. I can't. I don't even know where to start. Um, it's just not a bad way to go. Let's own what we did, and to the degree that it's because of us or because of them or whatever, let's talk about it. But let's not say things like "you gave me no other choice." We all have choice. We all can make intelligent choices. We can all make emotionally intelligent choices. Why can't you just? Why can't you just be more, do whatever? Cut it out. If you're saying it, find a different way of communicating. If someone is saying that to you, just say, let's stop right there. Let's talk about the issue at hand, and let's not do this sort of finger pointing, guilty, shame, blame, and game thing of why can't you just? Okay. This wouldn't have happened if you, I mean, come on. It's so obvious. That's just not something you say if you're trying to be in communication. You just don't do it. And finally, of this group anyway, because the list is a big one, but I wanted to pick 5 that were really the Feisty Friday 5 for low EQ examples. Someone's telling you a story and you interrupt or interject before they've even finished the story with, that reminds me of the time. Now, we all have great memories. We're boomers. We got that vantage point. We're up on the hill. We're looking down on the decades. We're looking down on the good, the bad, and the ugly that happened. We've got wisdom. We've got all that stuff. It's great. It works for us. But we don't need to reiterate it in the middle of somebody else's sharing with us. So there's plenty of time to remind somebody of the time that you had that's like the one they're talking about, but let them finish their story. Okay. I tell you, all right, this is my pet peeve for the week, by the way. People that are on transmit. There's no feedback. They're just blowharding, just transmit. Like, you better be really entertaining, like world-class comedy on the stage in Vegas, entertaining to go on transmit. Other than that, zip it occasionally. So that's communication, a big thing. Calibrate. We've talked about oxytocin. We've talked, the feel-good hormone. You can get patches. You can do a nasal spray. We've talked about melanocyte stimulating hormone. Oxytocin's the feel-good hormone. Makes you bond, makes you warm and fuzzy. Melanocyte stimulating hormone is makes men more aroused, harder, denser, all not bad things. So hormonal adjustments to calibrate, go to your doctor, check your hormones out, people, make sure everything's working right, because that will add a lot to this whole sexual fun equation. Testosterone for men, testosterone for women. Smart toys. I talked a couple weeks ago about smart toys, a woman's vibrator that actually measures what the orgasm was like and what contributed to it, and blah, blah, blah. And a video game that, we'll call it a video game, that was run by a vibrator. It was almost like a joystick, and you kind of learn muscle control and you're playing a video game. I haven't tried that one, but that's fascinating. So there's a lot of toys out there, smart, fun toys. I'm personally a chemistry freak. I just love great chemistry. I'm not big on toys and stuff, but people are. So do whatever floats your boat. So those are the 3 C's for this pre-Halloween from Maryland. Take it from Maryland. It's conflate to the degree that it's helpful and appropriate and healthy. Communicate, because what leads to end of the day feeling warm and fuzzy. It's been a great day for communicating, and you want to just take it to the next level. And calibrate, make sure everything's in working order, whatever you got to do that. So those are the things that will add to a great sex life. So Andy.
Yes.
First of all, last week I had a wonderful Pinot. It was called Cherry Pie. This week, in honor of Halloween, I'm having just a little bit of Grand Marnier. It's not the right glass. I know that people don't throw shade at me. I didn't have a snifter handy. A little bit of orange Grand Marnier. Do we have questions?
Yes, we do. You were one of Becky really got off on the working out because it's kind of, I guess, her pet peeve or something like that. She was working out on a stationary bike, and she's new to working out, and she says she worked out really, really hard. And then she realized she only worked off about 300 calories, and she thought, wow, that should be better, and she got discouraged, and she just wanted to know if you ever have noticed something like that.
Oh, Becky, did you come to the right person? First of all, on a stationary bike, it's all controlled. It's like a beautiful fat burning scientific experiment. Don't go by whatever the gauge said. How do they know how many calories? Becky, did they take a metabolism test on you? They don't know how many calories you burned. I'll tell you what, my figure eight workout, which is scientifically designed and based on hard science through a Mississippi nurses study that actually showed that the workout can get people off of statins and all kinds of stuff medically. But let's just talk about fat. Let's talk about inches. You want to work high intensity for a short period of time, back off and hit that intensity again. And the figure eight is scientifically designed to do it exactly the way you need it. Do not worry about whatever that bike told you. And by the way, working out hard for, let's say, 30 minutes or an hour straight, just going full on, isn't as good as hitting a high intensity interval at a very prescribed rate and time, and then backing off. And by the way, done early enough in the day, it sets your metabolism. Forget that the bike said you burn 300 calories. Who cares? The beauty is when you do this stuff right, it steps your metabolism up. And for the rest of the day, you're a high fat burning animal. You're going to be burning more for the whole day. And that's what you want. So do not get discouraged. Be really smart about your workout. It'll take less time and you'll get way better results.
Two questions here. One is from a Tony Tony, and the other is from a Tony Tony. So let me start with the Tony, the guy. He says he just turned 65. He also turned single and dreams about younger women, but heard what you said. He doesn't know the right answer. He knows you're right, though. He says that he also knows that he seems to can't help himself.
Okay, so yeah, so here's the deal. Is this Tony with a Y or an I?
This is with the Y.
Okay, this is, I bet Tony's Italian, but that's just a wild guess. But here's the deal, Tony with a Y. You men are hardwired for that. You're hardwired, and thank you, Tony, for admitting this. You're hardwired for the visual. That's how you're hardwired. We know that. Women are a little more emotional, although there are women that are just total horn doggies and more like men than women. But you're hardwired the way biology hardwired you, so that you're looking for the young, fertile mate that you can procreate with and keep the species going. But as a thinking guy, first of all, you got to know that where you're going to go, with few exceptions, where you're going to go with somebody much, much younger. And that's not to say that it doesn't work out sometimes, but here's the key. Find somebody that can fit into that visual niche that is a turn on for you. And I'm going to bet that you can find somebody that's within the realm of age appropriativity. I just coined that term. Get some sexy lingerie, have some fun, have communication. So there's the visual. We know you're a guy, it's visual, but how about the communication? How about someone who can understand you? How about somebody who you can have a good laugh with? So I understand you, Tony, and it's natural and it's biological, but you will find a way and a woman that will be in the realm of what has some possibility for long term. And I think you'll be okay. And it's just you're fighting biology to some degree, but then you got to tune your head into this deal and get a little more, you have to get a little more cerebral, Tony with a Y.
Tony with an I, and she's just turning 60. She's been married now for 35 years and wonders if she should find out if her husband is still interested in the crazy sex that you talk about.
Well, okay. I think what she should do is jump in and do some stuff and see how he reacts. I mean, there's always a thing called the conversation about it, like, hey, honey, I saw this show about whatever, and I'm thinking, is that something you'd like to try? I mean, that's a communication thing, Tony with an I. That's really just a communication thing. Or you just go out on a limb and you do something wild and you show up with one of these smart vibrators and a whatever and some things, and you just, I make jokes about Jello shots and you have at it. You don't have a problem, Tony with an I. You just have an exploration that needs to be had. And you'll see, you're either going to make your husband super, super happy, or he's going to go, no, I'm fine with the way it is now. I mean, I'm curious if she has reason to believe that he's not happy with the way it is now. And only Tony with an I will know that. But she doesn't have a problem. She's just she's in the fertile void. She's going to find things out.
Well, I sure love that Halloween outfit of yours, and I love Halloween, and so I'm glad you reminded us of that. And you're going to be coming up. Let's see, next week. Anything that to foreshadow at this point?
Well, you know what? I'm going to go out on. I talked to Tony with an I about going out on a limb. I'm going to go out on a limb to a Hollywood hunk, longtime friend of mine who's newly madly in love, and he's not a spring chicken. And I'm going to see if I can get this guy and his girlfriend to come on the show next week, which would be really fun. So we're going to see if we can have some fun with some a live scientific experiment here, live on the court with two players who are having some fun and are finding that, later in life, they're meeting somebody more exciting than anyone before. So that's kind of a cool prospect. So we'll see. But I promise something fun, and I promise something sexy.
Boy, that sounds good to me. I will be here, and thanks as always, Greta B. It's good to see you and good to hear from you.
Thank you, Andy. See you all next week.
Well, thank you for all watching. Greta B, Feisty Friday at 5. We'll be back here same day, same time. You can find out more on